One well-loaded motorcycle heading out. The realisation of a promise that I made back in 2016 when I was bolting the 1939 Red Panther project together and thinking of rides we might take. One of the more ambitious ideas saw the little 250 single returning to its birthplace in Cleckheaton, Yorkshire, for the first time since its dispatch from Phelon and Moore's some 84 years ago. And that's where we are bound on this bright, dry day in the autumn of 2023, riding north from Cambridgeshire and determined to cover every mile under our own power. One old motorcycle, its rider, and the requirements of 2 nights under canvas, or nylon for you sticklers for detail. I don't claim a solo adventure in the Des Malloy League, but it's still a stretch for this rider. There is a line in James Taylor's lullaby, Sweet Baby James, which sums up this moment for me, and it comes to mind every time I settle into the saddle on a longer ride. 10 miles behind me and 10,000 more to go. Somewhere within the first half hour an enormous impatience assails me, sapping enjoyment. An urgent need for progress which must be addressed and overcome in the head long before anything significant happens beneath the wheels. There is no tap to turn and drain desperation away. It will evaporate in its own time to bring a change of focus from that imaginary destination 150 miles distant, and only then will I fully connect to the sensation of air rush and the vibrations coming up from the road. The best I can do now is concentrate on the tarmac ribbon, the traffic, the spring of girder forks, and the flick of insect bullets against my mouth covering. In time I will rediscover my delight in the rising engine note, poised as I shut the throttle, pause, declutch, and lift the foot change lever for the next gear. A twist of the grip brings back the 250 Panther's willing little horses, and with each change I take a step closer to full connection. A few cross-country miles brings us through Market Deeping to the A15, Almost parallel here to the dual carriageway A1, this lesser route collects comparatively little traffic for a more relaxed ride on a small capacity machine. Our cruising speed between 45 and 50 miles per hour has fewer fellow travellers snapping at our heels, and easy miles are soon rolling beneath the wheels. The last time I rode the Red Panther any distance was on the longest day run earlier in the year. Then you may recall we suffered both clutch drag and slip, initially evident on kick starting, but increasingly also under power, despite the Panther's meagre output and the level fenland landscape. Those problems are behind us today. A happy solution was achieved with a modicum of puzzling and a little bench work. What I found in the primary drive was not a huge surprise. One broken spring tilting the pressure plate at a jaunty angle is enough to explain both drag and slip, and I already have a new set of clutch springs standing by. Those to suit the common BSA Bantam are a good substitute and easily obtained, but I also plan to replace the friction material. When restored, the Model 40 required rather more skimmed from the cork than I thought ideal. And this time I plan to be a little less enthusiastic with my sanding block. But it's not long before I recall that this is not only the road I travelled last time, but that it ended in the same ditch. You can follow the process here. Cut and boil corks. Reline. Set in the lathe and sand true. Assemble. roll outside and test against compression. No slip for an easy start. Pull in the clutch, select first gear. Oh dear, this is the ultimate clutch slip. The last plate has dropped off the centre and locked it in disengagement. Lever deflection is decided by the Bowden handlebar control, which is an original, as is the corresponding lever on the Berman gearbox. The clutch frees, but the outer plate is right on the lip of the centre splines, and sure to drop off on a design which provides freedom without restraint. Time to get inventive. Supposing that we drill and tap the clutch centre face in a couple of spots and fit screws and washers. No outward force is applied, so 4BA will be ample, with a spot of thread lock to secure the screws. The plates are still free enough, but they can't drop off the end. Job done. I finish with a new gasket in neoprene rubber strip. And it's proved on the road too. Easy selection of neutral, smooth takeoff from a standstill, and not a hint of slip despite the full load, even when we head into the hills. On a faster bike I would take advantage of Lincoln's new Eastern Ring Road, but experience has presented me with an easy detour for a lightweight, avoiding the busy cathedral city's centre to take a dogleg to the west, leading to tree-lined roads and picturesque villages. 75 miles out, I am reminded that machine and rider both have their limits, and with Red Panther fuel economy topping 100 miles per gallon, it's this rider's resilience which sets the bar. In Gainsborough I pull in, top up the tank, empty self, and get stiff muscles working again, while a brief chat with a fellow customer breaks my silence. It's always encouraging to meet one old enough, and I say smart enough, to know what a Panther is, and not to ask, was it made by Triumph? Resuming our beaten track, we cross the River Trent and head northwest towards Bawtry and less familiar territory. I spot a lay-by and pull in to rehydrate and check progress. My simple tank bag route will take me around Doncaster, thickening with Saturday morning traffic, before we head for Barnsley and the campsite beyond. Which books inspired you as a young person? Back in the 1970s, when I discovered the pleasure of solo motorcycle trips, I read single-handed sailor and aviator Francis Chichester's bestseller, The Lonely Sea and the Sky, and was captivated. Chichester championed a system known as off-course navigation, which may sound like a euphemism for getting lost, but bear with me. The principle, in a nutshell, is a method of achieving your destination despite slight deviations by setting a deliberate course to one side, travelling for the required time multiplied by speed, and then turning through 90 degrees, when your destination will appear dead ahead. How is this relevant today? Perhaps I mention it in the hope that one familiar with these roads will see my navigational error as deliberate, and I can arrive with my reputation intact. I'm following the A6182 today, through junction after junction, and when I stray from the route I don't even notice. Was there a shortfall in concentration or an excess of confidence? Oblivious to my error for some miles, it wasn't until I reviewed the video for this edit that I actually pinpointed the moment. Here you see me looping steadily north to the west of Doncaster, following straight on arrows on the A6182, until, in the wrong lane at a junction without signage, I make a slip on the slip road. Sailing happily on, by the time I realised I was well off-piste, my original route beyond saving. Unfortunately, I then compounded the error by putting faith in a new and unfamiliar mobile phone, which, untrained in the use of small, low-powered and overloaded pre-war motorcycles, led me boldly to the nearest motorway junction. That was when I put on my Francis Chichester hat, struck out west, and after a few miles made the 90-degree redirect northwards, which brought me back onto lightweight Panther appropriate roads. Pleasure returned, and with an aha, there it is moment and a quick about face, we rolled onto the site. Due to an effect known to us as panther lag, it takes a while to wind down after a few hours in the saddle. The cure is setting up a tent, making tea, breaking out the flapjacks and nattering to panther fellows.
Hello, I've got my earplugs out now, I can hear you.
Good ride over, Jonathan.
Yeah, fantastic.
As it gets dark, we clamber up to the village and gate crash a party at the local working men's club. It's loud, but taking our drinks out to the yard permits conversation, which covers the usual eclectic subjects from precision spark erosion to the Zoe health study. Campsite mornings begin at sun-up, which is not unreasonably early in September. I delight to awake to the gentle conversation from neighbouring tents, and there's all morning to relax and chat before rally organiser Paul leads us over the top for lunchtime drinks in Cleckheaton.
Woody, tell me about your panther. I'll get to you later.
It's the 1962 120. I bought it as a box of bits in 1999. I didn't get it on the road until I think 2008, and a lot of it isn't sort of original because the parts were missing when I bought it. So it's first started with Blacknell San Remo on it, and then we decided that was too heavy. We bought a Wessex, so I've still got the Wessex, and I put it on now and again to take it off. It's just recently had a rebore as well and a rover piston. It's sort of in running in mode at the moment. I was on standard bore, standard piston, and I don't know if that was original or not. It was very low on compression.
Sort of personal touches that every panther gets.
Yeah, they're all different, aren't they?
Mm.
Yeah, and that's got the Thornburg.
The twin leading shoe brake. Yes.
Yeah, which is a fantastic piece of kit. It really does stop.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
2 nights.
2 nights. You weren't here the first night, were you?
No, I'm staying tonight.
Oh, I was going to say.
I can't. There's no way I can get up to Cleckheaton and get home again.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Not in the daylight, anyway.
As I say, I've been to Cleckheaton, but I've never been there, so I thought I'd want to make the effort.
You're doing it, yeah, good. And you're riding a Model 35. I am filming now, so remember, to mind your P's and Q's.
What do you mean
Can we have that again for people who lip read? Thank you. Riding a Model 35 ES?
Yes, electric start. Which I will just demonstrate when this gentleman moves his cash point away.
Right, yes.
Because I do always need to do that in the morning. I'm happy. I think it is running
All paid up.
slightly hot.
Good.
I've had the carburetor apart this morning as well.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Well, it was leaking a little. I was going to say a rude word, but it was leaking a little.
Yeah.
Full choke. Ignition on. Why can't we see my battery light? Yes, there is power. Not hopeful.
Among members already present at the Obadiah Brooks is old friend Dave on his 350 Panther from about 1936. Weatherspoons has dedicated a wall inside for the club's commemorative photos. We take refreshment in the sun outside and push the bikes over to Home Bargains, the store which now occupies the old Panther factory site. The information board is local club member Gordon North's initiative, supported by club funds, the Civic Society and the site's new owners. Time for a photo call before I tag on behind Rob and Anne's Model 120 for the ride back to Cawthorne. Anne's phone, smarter than mine, doesn't once lead us onto a motorway, though Little Red has its work cut out to stay with them on the steeps. As the site empties, I take a chance to chat with Rob about his heavyweight, while John joins us for a discussion on the near inevitability of multiple panther
When he
ownership.
got round there, they got all the stuff sort of loaded up in boxes, and then as he's walking back out, he could see barrels sticking up out of the fella's garden. And he said, "What's that then?" He said, "Oh, it's another Panther engine." So they dug it out of the garden. And he said it was dead lucky because the engine that they dug out of the garden was the correct engine for one of the frames.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So he says that the crankcases had been underground for 25 years.
Right. Wow.
Oh,
I've got 5.
yes. There's not many people with just one, is there?
No! No, it'd be rude.
No, it's
Yeah,
once you get the disease, you can't stop.
Well, I've got 6 bikes already.
Right. Okay.
So
and
I've already
have you got
reached-
room for a
Not
seventh?
really. No, I haven't.
I've got a Model 20, 1934, 1962, Model 65, 1953, Model 75, and a 1956 Model 65 Technarctic Model 75 spec. That were actually registered on the day I was born.
Oh.
Okay.
Ah. What's your name? I didn't
John.
get that. John. Yeah. Okay, that's enough. Excellent. Thank you. And are you Robert? Robert. Yeah.
And
Rob, you know.
I've got a 1956 Model 100 combination with
Oh.
Panther sidecar chassis
Yeah.
with a Swallow sidecar,
Oh, nice.
all
Yeah.
aluminium sidecar.
Yeah. That's the quality end.
Yeah,
Before they leave, Rob and Anne kindly donate the last of their beers for me to enjoy with my supper. As the sun sets, I take a brisk walk across Cawthorne Dyke, up through the village and back before I settle to sleep soundly for my second night. Monday dawns September misty, camp and grass saturated as sun filters through the trees. I brew up, take breakfast and give the Panther a look over, adding a little oil from my supply. With no chance that the tent will dry before noon, I pack it away wet, secure my load, and push the dripping Panther into sun on the field track. A wipe down and a plug change soon has us rolling back to the village and setting a course for home. There are no difficulties with the route this time, the Red Panther running like a dream, until somewhere south of Gainsborough I notice that the headlight is gyrating more wildly than usual, and pull in to discover that one of the bracket bolts is missing. Further disappointment follows when I open my spares stash. No bolts, no wire, no cable tie. I cast about in the lay-by, but find nothing suitable there. The other bolts are snug, and the best I can do is a loop of inner tube from around the pot with my spare spark plug in. It's not up to the task for long, and I keep a watching brief for the last miles. In case the homecoming video seems to imply that Angie has been standing on the drive for 3 days, wringing her hands as she awaits my return, I should say that I paused a mile away to phone her. Calculations suggest that my off-course navigation added about 20 miles to the outward trip. The weekend total was 302 miles at well over 100 to the gallon, burning just short of a pint of oil. Time to give this willing little Panther a well-deserved oil change, a new bolt with plenty of thread lock, and a corner of the shed. My thanks to all who've shown an interest in the channel, whether with your comments, by subscribing or just sticking with us. I'll be taking a little break too, but hope to post again later in the year.